Welcome to the AT Center at TCNJ. This webinar series is titled Use of Partner-Assisted Scanning, PAS, and Other Communication Strategies to Uplift Individuals with Complex Communication Needs and to Support Their Interdependence, and is presented by Molly Ziegler. Molly specializes in working with school-age and young adult individuals with traumatic brain injuries, brain disorders, and multiple disabilities to provide them with access to robust, personally meaningful communication that supports their identity, exploration, quality of life, connections with others, and self-advocacy skills. Her passion has driven her to expand her work to include training, education, and coaching of family and caregivers to develop proactive and reactive strategies to manage the individual's regulatory, pain management, and self advocacy needs in an efficient, dignified, and autonomous manner. These webinars are made possible through our partnership with the New Jersey Department of Education, Office of Special Education. The statements issued by guest presenters do not reflect the stance of the NJDOE OSE. Please use your professional judgment when implementing strategies and resources within your practice. Thank you for joining us. Now, let's listen to Molly.
Okay, so, excuse me, here we go. Now I would love to show you partner-assisted scanning in action with an example. I'm going to show you Amelia, a wonderful young woman who I've worked with for a few years now. She's a two-switch scanner, among many other amazing things. We co-constructed what she chose to title her problem-solving book. Here's the opening page. This is kind of part of the template that we're going to be providing to you, so that if you have a scanner or someone who wants to go about this direction of care in a similar way that Amelia chose to, that you have a similar structure, or if you have someone who is, it's a better fit to do it totally differently, at least you have the concepts and just like something to go off of. So it starts with this. It's written from Amelia's point of view, which again was her choice, and that can be, really appropriate and important in certain times, or maybe language needs to be less flowery for other people. It's really about it being a fit for the individual who it's serving. And the thing is, this is serving both the individual with the need and who's directing their care, and it's serving the whole team. It's making everyone's life easier. So these are the elements Amelia wanted to open with and include. How she shows when something is wrong, like maybe the vocalizations, word approximations, words that she'll say, what she'll do with her body. Then kind of signs of like, even if it's more passive things that she's not actively doing to try to communicate to somebody that something's wrong, but like, if something's happening, you might notice this about me. You might observe these things. And then Amelia chose to include, it is really important to her, to have access to her switches in these moments when it's appropriate, when it's an option, that it feels kind of grounding for her, just important to have a way to confirm her choices, another way that she wants to affirm. So she want to include, if you notice these things, it's time to set this up because we got to talk about it. Here's how I say yes. Here's how I say no. And then instructs the caregiver on how to follow the flow of this problem-solving book, on how to do partner-assisted scanning. So she has the instructions here of reading the options twice and reminding them we're just listening to the options. You can hear them hold in your head before we read them, with the pause for the individual to make a selection. So again, the individual needs time to hear what's coming, what is going to be offered to them, and then time to another repetition to actually make the choice. And you'll kind of see in the video that we go about it in a specific way too, where I assure Amelia that in that first run through, because it's a process we've done for so long together, I'm always like paying attention to like what she's hearing that first time around, or, paying attention to her reactions at all times, but we always wait for that second for the run through of where she has the wait time to decide, for that to be her actual kind of choice that we go with. So that is what Amelia, how she wanted to open this problem solving book. I think the structure is fantastic. The flow is great. It has everything you need to kind of get into this process. What else do I have here about our wonderful Amelia? Oh, so exactly. We co-constructed it, which means we kind of wrote it together, and that the ideas, the content is Amelia's, but she and I, what we worked together is I did this process with her. We use scanning on her device to construct it. So it's just kind of calling out to that, like, hey, for Amelia to do these amazing things, these are the supports that need to be in place for them to be done, co-construction. That I need to tag because I learned that at ATI had an amazing presentation. So I will have to add that to the references. This process, going through this problem solving book, brings her so much pride and comfort. She's really proud that she wrote this. She gets excited to do it, even if she's feeling kind of not her best. She gets excited to do this because she knows she's one step closer to some sense of comfort, some sense of control, some sense of being heard. She uses TalkSuite, which is a communication app, and will scan on that app or do partner assisted scanning on that app. But there's setup involved. There's mounting, there's trays, for her to do her own scanning, there's an interface. Those are not in Amelia's reality. Those are not things that are going to always be available. And it's really important for her for the content of this problem solving book to always be available. So if that means we had to skirt and make a light tech version that is, not based off any communication system, but just makes sense to her and she feels it'll work well with her caregivers, that's what we did. And it was developed to have consistency across caregivers, different nurses, different people who spend time with Amelia. Everyone has different exposure and experience with AAC. And so we want something that's going to be friendly to everyone who's helping Amelia. That's what's in Amelia's best interest and everyone's best interest. And it accommodates for the reality that the AT is not always going to be an option. It's my job to absolutely make sure that it's an option, it's set up, and it's ready to go as many minutes of the day as is possible. But for the times that it's not, she cannot be deprived of communication and deprived of access to what she has to say and what she needs. All right, Amelia, I'm so glad you told me that you're having a big emotion. Let me know what emotions you're having. Not fun, bored. Bad, worse. Weird, gross. Unhappy, upset, disappointed. Lonely, missing something. Someone, excuse me.
Yes, that's what I want.
Okay, I heard you call out when I was going through the list, so I'm going to keep that in mind. But I'm going to go through the list again. Wait for the one you want, okay? Not fun, bored.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I like that.
You're not having any fun, you're bored? Noted. I also wanted to note for you to pay attention to is the implementation, how we were following this process along with these key elements. So, was I being a clear communication partner? Was I being predictable? Was I presenting options clearly and effectively? Was I observing her cues? Was I responding to them? Amelia had her reliable, affirming response, and we were doing this really meaningfully in that Amelia wanted to chat about how she was feeling, and that's what she said was kind of on her mind and what she wanted to talk about. So those were some key elements, and I hope you're getting a sense of what this system looks like. So this continues on in a flowchart kind of fashion of we go to the next step of once Amelia shares what she wants to do, she has decided when she talks about feelings, she wants to share a feeling and then do the following steps. Let's show you that. Okay, thanks for sharing how you're feeling. What can I do to help? Calm down strategy, talk more about it, Pick an activity or distraction. Call someone or something different. Calm down strategy. Talk more about it. Pick an activity, distraction. Call someone. You hear something? First, calm down strategy. That's what you want to do? Okay, let's go there. Kiss and hug, ASMR, listen to music, something different. First is kiss and hug. ASMR.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the one? Okay, let's pick some out. Okay, thanks for sharing. Okay, how awesome is she? I mean, I feel like she's just giving you a masterclass on scanning. What she showed us there, the wait time on that last option especially, it was just fantastic. She's familiar with the order that these words are in. She knows ASMR is second because I read the options to her now, and because she's familiar with this, and because she picked the order way back when. So it's so much easier for her motor planning and for the complexities that go in for her to hit her switch or to say yeah. All that predictability is what allows her to respond and affirm to that option in a timely manner. A few notes there. If you'll notice, we have something different as the option for a lot of these. On some of them, I don't have them. Rule of thumb, we always want to be offering something different, right? We need to leave that door open and not be cornering somebody. A few times in this problem solving book, certainly a few times I forgot. And when Amelia was writing it as well, we have an open kind of editing policy of we will pick a section and be like, should we add something to like your calm down strategy? Should we add something to the feelings? So it's something that is a living, breathing thing that we're constantly editing. So again, there I'm kind of balancing like, well, this is something you're writing and choosing. Will I sometimes avoid adding something different as an ending because I know you've chosen these options to be presented to you, and I'm just going to give you a little less, one fewer option, a little less auditory stimuli. So again, it depends, and it's what works for Amelia. Okay, so I wanted to point out too, so here's what Amelia in our co-construction geniusly chose to do. I've worked with a lot of students who kind of have their calm down strategies. They have the things that help. Amelia wanted, though, to be offered different ones depending on what was wrong, right? So if it's, I believe you'll see in the template, the problem solving book template, she kind of chose to break down what's wrong into 4 main categories of physical pain, emotions, overstimulated by environment, and there is something different that I can't think of on the top of my head. And that's why it follows this flowchart way of like, oh, okay, the environment, let's talk about things that could be happening in environment. And then, oh, I know when these are the things that are happening in the environment, this is what helps you. And again, this is not kind of this deep of a flowchart is not necessarily appropriate for everybody, but it is really important for Amelia, who needs these thoughts and these specifics to be heard so that she has a huge role in like what's happening around her and how she's choosing to feel better, how she's choosing to participate. The space for that needs to be made. She also had this genius idea because we kind of were like, got to this point, we had written out like every possible thing that could kind of be wrong in each of those categories and all the ways that Amelia likes to help each one of those out. like you'll see here, like temperature, pretty straightforward for a lot of people, but like there's specific things, like sometimes if it's too hot, Amelia doesn't want to change her clothes or adjust the room temperature. She wants to leave the room if an option. Those are specific things she likes to do if the noise is really overwhelming. So like, again, this is how she decided to work it out. But we went through all of the possibilities of what's wrong, all the possibilities of how we're going to fix it. And we're like, oh my gosh, but there's still these things that really occur with some frequency or enough consistency where there are things that need to be checked, that don't, they may fit into a category, but it wasn't like, it wasn't exact. There wasn't really an efficient way for her to get there. So Amelia chose to kind of keep them separate as just kind of like she's like, it's usually one of these other things. If you go through these and it's like none of it, something different, or in that initial thing of like, is it physical pain, emotion, overstimulated, sick, or something different? She's like, something different. It's like, okay, well, let's come to these things that are, again, kind of recurring of like, I'm sitting on something. Just she wants to have kind of quicker access to it like that. But kind of keep them separate because they don't necessarily fit in these, like, they're pretty immediate fixes, if that makes sense. And really all this to say that this is just so specific to her. And that's what's most important. It's specific to her because she did not just play a role in creating this, co-constructing it, writing it. She led the way, and like her responses to things are what determined how this was going to go. And the last thing I'd like to point out here is that Mila loves to chat with people about self-care, relaxation. She's so creative when it comes to that. She's so open to trying to new things. And so she'd love to chat with anybody about what she's tried, hear new things from you, what she's explored or is exploring now in her routine. So if you want to reach out and connect with Amelia via me, please, we are always looking to collab, brainstorm, socialize, just spread the wealth, spread the knowledge, and learn something new.
Thank you for joining us. Are you a New Jersey educator looking for support or professional development tailored to your district's AT needs? We offer free, customized training and coaching for NJ teachers, paraprofessionals, and families. From hands-on workshops to individual classroom support and small group facilitation, we're here to help. Visit us at atcenter.tcnj.edu to learn more. Have a question? Contact us at atcenter@tcnj.edu. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content on all things assistive technology.